Alrighty, we're back. It's fucking freezing. Oh, it's cold. Okay, so anyway, we're back. I'm hoping this audio sounds decent, because if it doesn't, I'm gonna fucking smash something. So anyway, this is my long-awaited review of the TomTom Bandit. Give you guys an idea of my impressions, what I think of it, things like that. So I'm just going to say straight off the bat, it hasn't been smooth sailing with this camera. It's been a pain in the ass to get it working properly. So basically, I'll start at the top. The camera itself is solid. The build quality is fantastic on it. The mounting system, it has some good points, it has some bad points, just like the GoPro does. It's really easy to take off the helmet. It unclips with those two little quick clips, and it works really well. The only problem is that the rotation of the camera, how you can sort of spin it around on the barrel, it you can't lock it in place. So it does tend to rotate if you knock it. There is talk that they're going to have a clip to lock that in place, but I haven't heard anything about where you can get it yet, if they're ever going to do it. So yeah, that's one thing. But I do like being able to take it off the helmet in a split second. You don't have to unscrew anything. It just unclips with those two little prongs. And that's really nice when you just want to take the camera off in a hurry. The battery is quite a ingenious idea. It's got some downsides, like you have to unclip the microphone every time you want to charge it, and I am a little bit worried about the microphone clip breaking over a period of time. I hope that's not the case, because I'm pretty happy with how it comes off. You just throw it on a charger and the SD card's built into it, so you can swap batteries and SD cards at the same time if you're using a small SD card, which is quite handy. So when it also comes, we'll talk about the video quality, I suppose. I could say straight away it's not as good as the Hero 4 Black. The Hero 4 Black does have better overall image quality, especially at 1920 by 1080. And I'll drop in some footage here of some 1920 1080 footage, and you guys can see what it looks like. It knows that it does, you know, pull the battery down pretty quickly, and in the new firmware update they have an option to turn on airplane. But it seems to be on this camera that the 2.7K resolution is its sweet spot. So you shoot at that resolution and then you downscale it to your 1080p, and at that resolution it's actually very, very close to the Hero 4 Black. So not really losing out on anything. So yeah, 2.7K resolution seems to be the sweet spot for this camera. Shoot at that resolution. I think the battery life takes a little bit of a hit, unfortunately, but you know, you get the image quality if that's what you're looking for. It does shoot 4K, but it only does it at 15 frames a second, so it's basically useless, so forget about that. It's not a 4K camera. It's similar to how GoPro tried to do it at the beginning when they had 15 frames a second, but it's not usable. So don't even waste your time with it. Now, the differences are when you go beyond the video quality, when you compare this camera to the GoPro. So this has GPS built into it, so you can overlay your speed on your footage. You can actually overlay heart rate if you've got a heart rate strap that connects via Bluetooth. You can overlay G-forces. I don't know how accurate it is. I wouldn't expect it to be very good, to be honest. And yeah, I'll drop in some clips of, you know, chuck in a speedometer here and there just to give you an idea of what it looks like, and I'll throw in a G-force thing, see how that looks as well. Now once we go past all this different stuff that the GoPro has, we come to the real problem with this camera. And this is why I've had so many issues, or why it's taken so long to produce this video. So the big problem, the Achilles heel with this camera at the moment, is the external mic cable. Now I found out about this after I bought the camera, and I found out there was a thread on the TomTom forums about 4 pages long about vloggers complaining about the mic quality of this camera, and it is an issue. So basically what I had to do is I had to modify my camera, or not the camera, the cable specifically, to suit my microphone. Now the problem is, I don't know how TomTom have managed to screw this up. Basically, when you've got your microphone plugged in, you've got what's called a gain adjustment, which dials up the sensitivity or reduces it according to, you know, how loud your recording volume is coming out of the microphone, or your signal level. So for some stupid reason, they've got it dialed right up on this Bandit, and when I had it mounted on my helmet, when I tried it for the first time recording the internal microphone, it was booming, it was crackling, it was distorting the audio really badly, because basically it was clipping the audio level. It was going beyond the peak, and it was cutting it off and distorting whatever it was recording. So I fixed that on this one with my microphone. This isn't a fix for everyone, and I'm from an electronics engineering background, so you know, it was easy for me, but for most people this isn't going to be easy. Well, you know, it's getting easier for some people, but you know, feel free to give it a go if you want. So basically I had to put a high precision 1.5k ohm resistor in between the microphone and the input of the camera. So basically what that does is it adds extra resistance to the line in, and attenuates the voltage. So it's basically the equivalent of making it quieter. So the camera's trying to compensate and make it louder, but it can only go to a certain point before it can't go any further. So I've got it set up on mine, so it's holding it. I think the camera's basically holding the volume at maximum all the time, or the gain adjustment. And basically I've dialed the camera down a bit so it can't clip it, so it's pretty much maxed out already. So just so you guys know, TomTom do have a pretty decent support forum, and they have staff on there that are actually answering people's questions, and they're taking feedback on board and things like that. And this issue was raised, and in the new firmware update they have actually made some adjustments which are supposed to be adjusting the gain automatically, but in my case it hasn't improved anything at all. And my modification to the cable is the only thing that actually resolved it for me. Well, I hope it's resolved it for me. We'll find out when this video goes up anyway. So the other issue is the mic cable that comes with this camera, and it's the only cable you can use because it's quite a proprietary connector that's on the back of it. You can't really make one up to plug in yourself. Basically that cable is like 1 meter long, or 1.5 meters long, which is an absolute pain in the ass if you want to wrap it around your camera mount and things like that. So I basically killed 2 birds with 1 stone. I cut the cable right down to, you know, like 10 centimeters if that, and I put a resistor in line with a new connector to really hold back the microphone gain. And in all my testing so far, it's worked really well, and I've tried to match it with my old GoPro so you guys aren't too put out by how different it sounds. So I have no idea why it's happened that way with the TomTom, because the GoPro, I've never had an issue with it. The mic gain has been, it's been perfect. I've never heard it clip. So I don't know if they're still getting used to the action camera scene, or if they're not trying to target vloggers with these cameras. I have no idea. But honestly, I don't know what market you would be targeting if you weren't targeting vloggers with an external microphone, because I can't think of anyone else wanting to use one. So yeah, that's the main problem with this camera. It's that mic cable, and it is an absolute pain in the ass. Now, on that alone, if you were looking at buying this camera as a vlogger, I can honestly say I don't recommend it for the time being until they resolve this issue. Now, if they do, I'm happy to revisit it and you know, have a look at it, but you know, I've already modified my mic cable now. I can't go back and do it again. I'd have to take everything off, and I've sealed it with glue and everything, so you can't get back into it. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend this for a vlogger as of yet until they resolve this problem. And it sounds like they are, you know, they are diligent, they are willing to look into it. If enough people complain about it, that is, but it is quite disappointing, because I was ready to sing high praises for this camera and finally be gone with the GoPro curse, but obviously, you know, we're not there yet, unfortunately. But on the note of taking in community feedback and whatnot, they have done one great thing on this camera, and that's that they've put in a feature to disable the GPS on it, which is something that I was looking for when I first got it and I couldn't find it. And luckily they did add it in there, so that allows you to disable the GPS on this camera, and in theory it should give you a much better battery life, because the 3-hour battery life is rated with the GPS turned on, and as you know, with your phone and your GPS units and stuff like that, it does chew the battery. So there is potential here for it to have a much longer battery life with the GPS disabled if you don't need it. So that's quite a handy thing. Yeah, so moving on from the microphone, I've bitched about that for long enough. So the actual helmet mount for the camera, I'm pretty happy with it for the shoe berth. The mount's probably not perfect yet, but basically once you've locked down the clamp on it, it holds everything in place, so nothing will move until you unlock it again. Except for the rotation, but it's very easy to tell if it's out of whack there, so you just push it back around. So you need to make sure, if you want to mount it on a helmet, that you get one of those multi-axis mounts that can swing out and turn up and down and everything. The standard mount only allows it to swivel, it doesn't allow it to sort of tilt outwards. So you definitely need a couple of those mounts if you want to put it on your helmet or do some other stuff with it. But yeah, I'm very happy with how it's sitting on my helmet. It's, you know, I'll probably have to make a few tweaks to the height and where it's facing and everything, but I think it's pretty much on the money. And it's very streamlined compared to the GoPro, which is what I'm really rapt about. Aside from the battery life, which is the biggest reason I ditched GoPro. So let's just do a quick summary of what I think of this camera. So I like the GPS on it, I like the mounting system, I like the slim profile for helmets, I like the build quality of it, I love the battery life, and I actually don't mind the battery system. I like being able to remove the whole battery and SD card in one thing and change them out together. The things I don't like is I don't like the rotating mount on it. I wish there was a way to just lock it in place and make it stay there. That may get fixed in the future. And I don't like the mic cable. They need to make a shorter mic cable, and they need to fix the auto gain adjustments for the mic, because that is just so annoying. And like I said, I won't recommend this to anyone who's just looking for a vlogging camera. If you're just looking for an action camera to stick on your bike, it's probably worth checking out, but I wouldn't be buying it to do any talking into, that's for sure. Anyway guys, I might end this video here. Hope you enjoyed it. Sorry it's taken so long to get it done. Like I said, I've had a lot of headaches trying to get this camera set up exactly how I wanted it. And yeah, now that I've got this up and running again, I can hopefully push out some more videos and not just be completely frustrated with the whole thing. So anyway, until next time, and see you around sometime. See ya.